With the star. That's a
Amen.
He's dancing with the star.
Yes. Welcome to Dog Hugs, you guys. It is so great to have you today here. Hello, Robbie. Hello, G-Dog. How y'all doing?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Going on? Hey, you got Senna back there.
Looky here. Look who's with me.
Yeah.
Hi, baby. I have Senna, and I have Senna's doppelganger.
Very fetching.
I know, it's quite the likeness, right? These actually come in handy for dogs when you have to start leaving your house more, that you buy a stuffed animal that looks like your pet and you leave it around their crate or in their kennel with them. But if they're a dog that shreds things that are stuffed, there are other options. But this is an option I used to help wean him, because when he flew here from Brazil, he left all his siblings. So this looked like a dog that was one of his siblings, and had that, gave him that relaxation of, that dog is not freaking out, so I shouldn't either.
That's really great. We are on the run up to the 4th of July, and pet fireworks safety is real important. Geraldine, Robbie, are there some things that you guys want to say about that?
This will be my first year having a pet in the house who's afraid of fireworks. All those years I would see everybody on Facebook complaining about fireworks, and I'm going, oh my God, who cares? It's not a big deal. Well, now I've got Hazel, and there's people shooting fireworks now, and she's terrified. She pees when they start. She goes running away. We try to pick her up, and she's just a quivering mess. So now I feel bad for all these unkind thoughts I had all those years about, dogs, because I've never dealt with that before. So this is a learning experience for me.
Yes.
Great point, Robbie. It's a very much a learning time. And what's crazy for me is it's my first year having a puppy in a long time. For the first time, he just is turning 7 months. So he's young, and I don't know what his reaction is going to be. So instead of waiting to find out, I'm proactive, and I find out on purpose by playing some music that has a thunderstorm and then some fireworks in different loud or different volumes while I feed him. Or I give him something like this, which look, he's so happy I have one for him. It's an earth animal, no hide, but this one he's actually chewed on a little bit already. So I filled it with some treats right here. And now I'm going to give it to him during the show. It's some of his practice of some distraction that helps him focus on something else besides the fireworks or the thunderstorm. And it's a really great way to feed them as well. I can put a little bit of food in there. So it's another puzzle or another game like we're giving Spider.
Yeah.
So I'm going to want to ask Geraldine and Larry, Hazel is not food motivated. So unlike the other dogs, she likes food, but she's not motivated by it. So I'm going to need some ways to deal with her that doesn't involve food, because like I say, she could take it or leave it.
Motivation is really important, and there are a variety of motivators. Food is, of course, the most common. Toys and touch, and sometimes words. It's kind of like the dog's analogy of, if you've heard of this, love languages.
Yep.
How we love, how we enjoy being told we matter, that we're being cared for, that we're safe. So
then Hazel does love toys. So maybe I'll start rotating out some toys, or buy her some new toys. I mean, the laundry basket we have, it is overflowing, so we could use it.
Well, and we'll talk about that, because take all those toys up and start introducing them one or two at a time to re-energize those toys and make them meaningful again. If they're all laying all over the floor all the time, then sometimes they don't care, or they're just not sparked. Their imagination isn't sparked properly at that moment with their instinctual behavior. So sometimes it's timing. And we're going to go over more of those things as well. But I would definitely pull all the toys up right now and start sparking some joy with their toys again by introducing them 2 or 3 at a time instead of 20 or 5 or 10. You choose the number, but really stick around those lower numbers at the moment.
Oh, so my overflowing basket is not actually helping.
It's a little too overwhelming.
I'm loving them too much.
Once again, it's a flaw in us humans, right?
Yes. Next topic. Among this month's pet holidays, it's National Pet Preparedness Month. What does that mean to be prepared for?
Part of the reason that this is going on this month is it's hurricane season.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm already hearing about a lot of storms down south. So when I think of Pet Preparedness Month, it makes me think of if I had to evacuate, you know, I can get myself into the car, but what do I need for my pets?
Right.
And my life has gotten a little more complicated now that Henrietta is on 4 prescription medications.
Well, and
So
she's how old? She's 13?
She'll be 15.
15, yes.
But I have a backpack inside my hall closet that I have extra leashes. I have all of the dogs and cats' medical records. And everybody has an additional collar in there with their name tag on it. So if I ever had to just like run out, I've got all their stuff. Then I just have to round them up. So it's really, you know, making sure you're prepared so you don't have to leave your pet behind.
That's really great to have that plan in advance. Yeah. Well, let's introduce you guys to today's guest.
This is so exciting.
Yeah.
I know. We're so thrilled to have him on with us today. So honored that he's a part of our day.
John Hurley.
John O'Hurley's great.
Is an award-winning actor, host, composer, writer, and lifelong dog lover. John is one of television's busiest and most versatile personalities. Since 2002, he served as the host of NBC's he has served as host of the NBC Beverly Hills Dog Show, and since 2002, host of the NBC's National Dog Show, which attracts an audience of more than 20 million viewers each Thanksgiving. I know. John danced his way into the hearts of America as the ultimate champion on the first season of the hit ABC show Dancing with the Stars. I'm not
so
my photo.
Can I just say where I fell in love with John O'Hurley?
Of course.
When he was Peterman on
There we
Seinfeld.
go. When he was Peterman, he's well known for his portrayal of the wry and witty J. Peterman on Seinfeld. The host of Family Feud and as the voice of many popular cartoon characters, including King Neptune in SpongeBob SquarePants.
I didn't know that.
Surprise!
A lot of you can do with Atlas.
Atlas watches SpongeBob, so we'll have to check it out.
John has starred on the Broadway stage. He sings. And
I saw him in Chicago, actually, just a couple of years ago. We, my hubby and I attended his Broadway wonderful rendition with John of Chicago at one of the wonderful theaters there, and fantastic performance.
Fantastic. And in addition to singing, that's not all. He is the author of several books, including the New York Times bestseller, It's Okay to Miss the Bet on the First Jump, and Other Life Lessons I Learned from Dogs. And Before Your Dog Can Eat Your Homework, First You Have to Do It. And
I'm pretty sure that was his euphemism.
A Perfect Dog, which is now a children's musical that's done all over the world.
Oh my gosh.
John and his wife Lisa and their son Will share their home in Vermont with Sadie, a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and Lucy, a Havanese. John O'Hurley is the 7th most interesting man in the world, and easily the 6th most interesting person we've had on Dog Hugs. John O'Hurley, welcome to Dog Hugs. Great to have you with us.
Well, thank you. Should I wait for the theme music or what?
We'll sing for you.
I won't sing.
Dogs will howl. Dogs and cats will.
You could probably compose it on the fly. Oh, we lost John.
Oh, we lost him.
He's calling in from rural Vermont, and so he's going to come and go just like that mercurial star.
That's all good, because we have some dirt on him today, and I thought I would give him a minute to be able to sign back in, and here's some of the fun.
I'm back here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm back.
So we're going to go straight into something funny that someone told me just to break the ice, because this is fun.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
truth or fiction, John.
So I have a game I play. It's called True or False. So true or false, John O'Hurley can't throw a Frisbee.
Oh. Am I supposed to answer that?
It's got to be
Yes.
false.
Well, I believe it's false. I know that he can throw a Frisbee. I mean, he plays piano, for gosh sakes.
Even I can throw a Frisbee. So yeah,
So
he's got to be able to.
I can play piano, and I cannot throw a Frisbee.
Really?
I suck at throwing a Frisbee. In fact, I'm so glad that some of these companies have come out with these special Frisbees for people in need like me.
Oh yeah, the
People in need.
arrow bead. It's got that rubberized edge on it. It's really great for people, and it's got balanced. It's really nicely engineered. I'll have to bring one out for you.
So John, can you throw a Frisbee?
Actually, I can. And I'm up here in Vermont now for the summer. This is summer home, so we have several hundred acres on the property, so I have a lot of room to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of
That's
chances to get those
beautiful.
Frisbees into the rough.
That's wonderful. So tell us more.
So
Barry.
piano compose. Are you composing up there in Vermont these days? Are you playing? What are you doing with the piano these days?
Well, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my piano to arrive. It's in transit somewhere, and so I'm kind of. I can sit and go da 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 da, and I compose a lot in my head.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help me.
Right. Right. John will be back with us, and we'll talk more about that.
He needs to buy a keyboard. I've been in those shoes before, where a keyboard actually really helps in that interim time when you don't have your piano there. Or you just go down and get one of those big pianos that is like from the movie Big, where you have it across the floor and you just dance on it.
That is a great idea. That is a dog trick worth teaching.
Wouldn't it be great? Maybe John should teach his dogs, Sadie and Lucy, to jump on that one of those keyboards. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it?
That would be a great trick. You know what, G-Dog, I think you're just the person to train that. All right.
To help train that in.
John's back again. John.
Hi, back. I apologize. I keep getting knocked offline here.
Yeah,
it's all good.
That happens. And from your books, could you share a few of the lessons, the life lessons that dogs have taught you?
Well, I think the most important lesson that a dog teaches us is that to live in the present moment. Dogs have no concept of time. They know now and they know never. Essentially, that's it. And as long as you're with them, it's now. And as long as you're not there, it's never. You're never coming back. I mean, dogs will sit at the door. You can go out and get your mail on the street, and your dog will, your dog will think you've been gone for 3 hours and wait for you by the door. And they just think it's just the greatest thing in the world when you come back. They have no concept of time, in a sense, in the same way that we do. And it's a very good life lesson, is that they don't worry about the future and they don't live in the past. And if you don't believe me, try and reprimand a dog for something they did on the floor 15 minutes.
Well said. John will be back with us again, but really
great point.
Lesson, to rub a dog's nose, in that poop or pee.
Or to scold them.
Yeah, it does no help behaviorally. And it's unhealthy and it's cruel, in my judgment. So
it is, and that myth is still around that that's a way to handle those items, and that's not a way to handle those items at all.
Yeah, excellent.
And you know what? I grew up. That's how my parents house train the dogs. That's how I grew up thinking that that's what you did.
Right.
So I was glad I got involved in the pet industry, or I would have continued on thinking that's what you did.
It's never too late for us to
Right.
start again. And as John's was saying, to be in the present moment again. That is such a good lesson for me.
It's one I practice daily, but as a human animal.
I'm back, by the way.
Hi.
Yeah, we can see you, man.
We're so glad you're back.
Is there another lesson you'd like to share?
Well, on a more positive note, you're only the size you think you are.
Oh.
And that every dog proves that. If you have watched if you've watched a Great Dane cower to a Yorkie, then you know exactly what my principle is. You are the size that you think you are, and that goes. And I think that's a very, very good lesson, life lesson for people to. People that say, "Oh, everybody's got a better idea than I do," and whatever it is, we find our way to cower sometimes. But dogs, they don't care. They get their job done, and they don't care how big or how small they are. They're going to get their job done.
And truth, that's such a great statement, such a great message. Definitely, and especially in today's world, now that we're all understanding that we have the power to be able to make changes. So you are as big as you choose to be. Now it's a matter of being well prepared to have that larger energy and to walk into situations with some etiquette or some petiquette if you're a dog or a cat.
I'm so glad that you mentioned petiquette. That concept of yours, Geraldine, is coming up more and more, and maybe it's just a sign of when we're aware of something, it comes up. It's like, if I'm thinking of buying a certain kind of car, suddenly I see, especially in LA, that kind of car. But I'm more and more petiquette, since you mentioned the concept to me, has come on my mind. Yeah.
And I'm glad, because post-COVID, we're all going to need that. And
yeah,
right now, we just need a lot of humor. So do you have any really great jokes for us, John? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, in addition to great jokes.
Yeah, do I have any good jokes? Yeah, I was trying to tape. I tried to take a late afternoon nap yesterday. My wife made me sign a do not resuscitate order.
Oh.
Okay.
I love it. That's hilarious.
Post-COVID, John. Oh, he's gone again.
It's okay. Post-COVID.
We're going to talk with John about the future of dog shows when he comes back yet again. This is great. These are like suspense moments with cliffhangers.
They are. It's like a commercial break.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Senna fell asleep. He chewed on his earth animal no hide, and then he went to sleep in the other room, which is impressive. That tells me he feels comfortable not sleeping up next to me. I've been working on separation anxiety with him pretty heavy-handedly, and
nice.
And so I'm impressed. But yes, this go ahead, Larry. Yes.
Yeah, John is back. And so, John, we're going to do this probably in little chapters, as if we're doing a chapter book here. And let's talk about dog shows and where you see the future going. Maybe you're already talking with the NBC folks about what y'all going to do, this Thanksgiving for the National Dog Shows, for the National Dog Show.
Well, I think, they're having a lot of discussions on it right now. Obviously, we try to encourage crowds because it's a large show, and we want to have 30,000 people in the arena. Whether that's possible or not, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's in the same way that we want populated entertainment on a Broadway stage, or in our sports venues, or in our dog shows as well. We'll have to see what the public temperament is for it. But I think we're a smarter and a wiser group of people through the flow of this virus now, and I would think that we can relax a little bit and this is a personal opinion. I think we can relax a little now and know that we are taking care of our own personal hygiene, and in that we are preventing the spread of it more than anything else that we could do.
Amen. Yeah, really.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, and so my question is, John, when you've done this for so many years now, you've seen so many beautiful breeds, so many representations of so many beautiful breeds, and can you spot a winner right away?
Yes.
So
Wow.
you know,
of the breed,
you already
yeah,
know.
absolutely. When I see a great example of a certain breed, and I'll qualify that by saying I'm good at certain breeds. There are some breeds that I just don't, my eye doesn't, curl up for them. But there are certain breeds, and there are the more dramatic breeds, I would say too. So the Irish Setter, the Afghan, the Golden Retriever, for one another, and then some of the smaller dogs, the Norwich, Norfolk Terriers, but also and then some of the hairless dogs I like as well too. And I can identify what is a good example of that breed. My eye has gotten fairly tuned over the 20 years now that we've been doing the show. But I'll tell you, yeah, every now and then I'll see a fabulous Golden Retriever, and of late we've had quite a few good ones. But there seems to be, I don't know, there seems to be a plug somewhere in the flow cycle there of getting that Golden Retriever into best in show. I don't know.
I know, right? I see some where I live out in Kansas City, outside of Kansas City. There's a path behind my house, and it's like a parade. I feel like I'm actually judging a dog show because so many people are walking their pets now more than were before themselves instead of maybe a pet sitter, and it's just a flood of these gorgeous animals. And there are some Golden Retrievers that just make me drool. That walk by my house every day. So I can imagine what it feels like for you with just my little dog show back here.
For those dog owners who choose to keep their dog in good, healthy shape, they are wonderful athletes. And I'll tell you, if you have a good-looking Golden Retriever, it's one of the, they just effuse what they're all about, that sense of love and spirit and genteel, and just fun-loving as well. It's such a great breed, and you can see why it's kind of like they're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. They're kind of America's breed.
Truth, and they help you live in the now.
John, you have
they all do. Dogs just don't know. I mean,
you have some fans here who would love to say hi to you, John. And I would bring. This is my neighbor Nora. So. Nora, thanks for joining us.
Sweet.
So big hello there.
Thank you, Nora. I appreciate that comment. I appreciate that very much. And
she also calls you very insightful, and you are how big you choose through. Yeah, I type like that too, Nora. From Dogs and Kitties. Got it. Yes, that's true. You are how big you choose. Yes.
Your pets definitely raise your self-confidence level, don't they? I mean, let's just be real. If you come walking in the door and your pet's coming rushing at you going, I love you, where have you been? Even when you go to grab your mail, just like John mentioned, that's a pretty special thing. So to be able to carry that level of joy through every moment of your life is pretty incredible.
And another fan, Catherine here, says,
I know a few of it.
For teaching your puppies. And Joanne corrected me that.
Do I have any?
What? Sorry? I interrupted you, John?
I didn't catch. Were you asking me for advice?
I think Catherine was complimenting you on your good advice for teaching your puppies. And Joanne is correcting me that 20 million in the NBC audience doesn't include dogs.
Great mention, Joanne.
No, and actually, I'll be more accurate. It's actually 32 million. It is the number one show on NBC all year long.
Bravo. And speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, who often play on Thanksgiving, you're sometimes going up against them and winning.
Well, oddly enough, we beat football.
They do. They beat football. And I do believe they're working. I mean, they have plans. Obviously, with this happening, I believe they will have 30, 60, I'm sorry, they already said 30 something, 40, 60, 80 million possibility.
Big numbers.
So
I would think.
Big numbers, no whammies. This is fantastic.
That's right.
No whammies.
So we just established a betting line on how bad you're going to beat the Dallas Cowboys this year, John. John, as you know, a lot of the show is about celebrating shelters and rescues and animal welfare. Is there a shelter or animal welfare organization you'd like to give a shout out to today?
Well, there are too many small shelters in the country that I deal with to pick and choose any one. But I've had a wonderful experience with the Humane Society out in St. Louis, and they have found the wherewithal to open up, thanks to Purina, our shows.
Yep. Oh, we lost John again, and he'll be back soon enough. But that's a really good point. Purina does sponsor the National Dog Show, and John, I know, works very closely with them. So for him to mention what they're doing in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken, Geraldine.
Yes, in St. Louis, and to give a little shameless plug for my own state, he adopted one of his pets from one of the St. Louis rescues while he was there. They were, yes.
Truth or fiction, John? What Geraldine just said.
Yeah, truth indeed. In fact, that's one of the reasons that I picked them. The Humane Society there has an incredible facility. It's a state-of-the-art facility. They've got a 4-acre place to walk the dogs as well. They have one of the top surgical centers in the country for dogs and one of the most innovative medical staffs anywhere in the country. But I did, and I'll tell you why, when I was making my opening remarks, I said, well, I have to have a dog in my arms. So I went back into the little dog area in the shelter. And there was this little kind of rust-colored dog that just looked me straight in the eye. And what I always say is that, especially about sheltered dogs, is the dog finds you, you don't find them. And this dog just whipped its head around, looked at me, and I said, there's the dog. So I took the dog out. I made my remarks to the press as we were opening the facility. And meanwhile, the dog is tucking itself inside my jacket and keeps moving in slower and slower. And the more it moves in, the more awes I'm getting from the press. And so by the end of my remarks, for about 20 minutes there, the dog's 2 legs and the end of its tail are now sticking out of my jacket. The rest of the dog has now burrowed itself in there. And so finally, at the end of my remarks, I just pulled my lapel open and I said, does anybody want to come back to Beverly Hills? and little Charlotte was on the plane with me going back that night.
Oh, wow.
I know. Great story.
Great story. Yeah. Thank you for that. John, this show is also about gratitude and blessing, especially in these times, to extend our spirit out to others. Is there somebody that you'd love to give a shout out to or a blessing to today?
Well, I'm going to, Geraldine mentioned, she says, you're going to say David, aren't you? And I said, you know what? You're right. I should. David Fry, I have to say, the most knowledgeable man in the world of dogs, and lucky enough to have him as my partner. And for 20 years now together on that show. And we have become just the best of friends, and because we care for each other, I think it certainly embellishes the reason that we love our dogs. They kind of soften our edges, and David has kind of walked me slowly through this wonderful world of dogs, and I'm truly grateful for this partnership that we have, which I believe is going to continue on in ad infinitum. I have now a reason to live to 100. I have a reason to live to 120 now.
Good.
Only the good die young, John. We're going to live forever.
I am still jiggy with it.
And so we thank you both to you and David so much for all that you've brought to the homes. You've brought dogs into the homes and made them not just a myth. A show dog can live on your couch. So you bring that whole atmosphere right to people's homes and help them improve the etiquette of their own pets based off of motivation.
And whether they're shelter dogs or purebreds or whatever they are, they will round out the edges of your life. And life right now could use a little rounding off.
Amen.
Agreed. Amen.
Well, on that note, John, thank you so much for being with us today on Dog Hugs, and have fun up there in Vermont. He didn't sign off the technology.
He was signed off.
That was
gone
there. Yeah.
I'm hoping he comes back, because I had a question. I wondered, if he needed to have special training to do the dog shows, because I don't know how how much you need to know for each breed and all their different specifications. I was kind of wondering about.
And it's a great question. If he makes it back, it's a great encore. But I can tell you who one of his tutors was. David Fry, who has an animal husbandry degree, and after owning and showing Afghans, had learned so much about so many breeds, and also knew just the genetics of them, that I'm sure he was the perfect tutor for Mr. O'Hurley.
And it's interesting because David himself thought he was going to have a career in sports broadcasting, and
correct.
He pretty much invented the modern dog show. Yeah.
That is interesting.
I'm so glad that you've got some insight there. We've got a few more comments.
Good comments today.
Hi, everyone, from Chris and who else? Let's see. Well, we've got love to Charlotte from Tracy Samantha.
Hi, Chris.
Good.
Chris is the founder of Meowana and a big fan of Mr. O'Hurley. That we had dinner with Mr. O'Hurley this last at Global Pet Expo, and had an absolute fantastic time as always. And so hi, Chris. Thanks for reaching out. We love you. You are perfect in our eyes.
Oh, that's really great. And my neighbor Nora says, you mentioned about last week regarding catnip. Can we discuss offline? I'll hook you up. And
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, a couple of my friends, Tina Lurie, hi to John. Well, we'll extend regards to him. So if you watched the show yesterday, you heard me give a shout out, some gratitude to Tina. So now that you're with us today, Tina, I'm going to express it again. Thank you so much for organizing our class Zoom reunion for our grad school film and TV class over the weekend. It was a fabulous time reconnecting with them. And Tina and some friends of hers, are actually going to join us on the show, because Tina's been a dog walker and has a very interesting story of her own to tell. And now here's another surprise that I was not expecting. Another great friend of mine, Larry Roshman. Aww. I like that mug you've got there, Larry, that mask you've got, always the clown. Where is Spider? Yeah, Larry.
Spider's in jail. Spider's in doggy jail right now.
You know what? I will let you guys continue for a moment, and I'm going to try to bring him back. So
yes, we should. And what I'll explain to you is what we're doing with Spider right now. Spider's very triggered by Larry going live. So when we go live, Spider begins his barking crusade to get Larry's attention. So we have changed the dynamic. We started faking some lives yesterday in order to do some counter conditioning, some distraction therapy, just like you use when you are working on thunderstorm distraction or fireworks distraction. We're using the exact same things for Spider when he reacts to Facebook Live. And it was actually a really great eye-opening experience yesterday when we had our training session to show how he reacts to that. But he is definitely making some really great puppy steps. Although they're small, he's making really great strides in his behavior change while we demonstrate some of that here on Facebook Live.
Yeah, great, thanks. Oh, this is a nice comment from Tina. You're welcome, Tina.
Thanks, Tina.
Shelter shout out with you guys.
So I'm gonna have my shelter shout for the Pixel Fund. It's a cat rescue that's in and they also rescue dogs as well. So it's cat and dog. My apologies, both. But it's in Orlando, Florida, and they do such great work. I love the Pixel Fund. They have they have a spay neuter clinic. They have all kinds of work that they do with their fosters, and they're also just a bunch of amazing people who try to make a difference in rescue pets' lives. So the Pixel Fund, check them out.
Very good. Robbie, who you got?
I don't have a specific shelter, but something came across my Facebook page about the cat cafes, which I think is such a cool idea. I wish there was a cat cafe by me, because what a great way to get to interact with a cat when you're sitting in, a living room setting, enjoying a cup of coffee. And it's like, I just love the people that run the cat cafes, and I need to get myself to a cat cafe.
That's a good point. I first discovered a cat cafe up in Oakland, California, and never had heard of one, and then spent a good half day in there. It was so relaxing. I actually got some writing done, just sat down, and cats would come over and crawl on me or not, and it was wonderful. If there's one in your community, folks, recommend that for you as well. My shout out also goes to a foundation in the San Francisco Bay Area, the Latham Foundation. They gave a very small grant to orphans and me some years ago when we were first making dog films, and they've been around for, I think, close to 100 years. And you're doing great.
Incredible.
Yeah, so there, and they do all kinds of wonderful humane education programs, and had an opportunity to speak yesterday with Judy Johns from the Latham Foundation. So big shout out to the Latham Foundation. Can you imagine 100 years ago what that meant, animal welfare?
Or what that looked like. Like, it was a whole different mindset. Such a different mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, most dogs lived outside. Many lived outside. 100 years ago, many were, being brought over from other countries still. There were 100 years ago, we did not have all the AKC breeds recognized that we do today, if you will, for that category, just as a reference point.
Yes.
So, wow.
My gratitude, my blessing today goes to my lovely girlfriend, Jen. We are today celebrating our 3rd anniversary from
congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I will let her know. So we're going to have a little social distancing dinner this evening.
Nice.
Yeah. Anybody else for you guys, and you folks in the audience? We always love hearing your gratitude, your blessings as well.
I think just based on something that John O'Hurley said earlier, it's like my gratitude goes to my pets.
Beautiful.
Because I don't always live in the moment. I worry about, oh my gosh, what's going to happen an hour from now? And I stress about something I did or didn't do or said or didn't say yesterday or an hour ago. And it's like, I really want to, I guess, emulate them more, because they don't have the stress in their life that I make be a stress in my life. So I'm grateful for my pets, and I need to pay more attention to the way that they live so that I can relax.
Yeah, I've heard it said that there's no suffering in the future or in the past is a choice.
True.
There may be true suffering in this present moment, but I know that most of the mischief I create. It's because I'm thinking about the future or thinking about the past.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll layer on top of that, additionally, agreeing with Robbie that I'm grateful for every pet I've owned. And people say, why do they pass away so quickly? Why do they only live 10, 7, 12 years? And I say, so you can have a lot of them. They bring each one teaches you a different lesson. And John mentioned that today, that they bring an awareness to you of how you operate. Boy, this border collie puppy I have who's asleep in the other room right now certainly helped shape a lot of my new behaviors. Not that any of the behaviors I had were bad. It's just he definitely helped bring an awareness to a lot of things. And I'm so grateful for him. Grateful for so I'm so grateful for Senna. I'm grateful for where he came from. And I'm grateful for all the pets out there that help with all of these aspects. So
beautiful.
Yes.
Well, we are grateful to you folks as well. Thank you so much for joining us today on Dog Hugs. And Robbie, who you have on your show tomorrow on From the Cat Box?
It's going to be a last minute call.
I'll fill in if you need somebody.
Okay, I'll keep it.
Watch your tail.
I've had a week. Let's just say I've had a week.
If you guys do love cats, join Robbie tomorrow on Crimeless Cat, our cat page, and at the same time for From the Cat Box. All right. Well, thank you again for being with us, John O'Hurley, and to all of you folks at home, wishing you guys a great big hug. How about one last hug there, Spider?
Big old hug.
Big hug, you guys. All right, bye, you guys.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing you again soon.